rider number 67 from Canada, Max Blackton. Rider number 69, Christophe Ergon Racing Team, Aaron Lakata. Rider number 70, the Swedish national champion, Magnus Olo. The rest of the field will be behind happening for them. As the field fills in, we have one row left to fill. In the first row, the top riders in the 2011 UCI Mountain World Cup, presented by Toronto. Rider 8, the T-Rex Active Yankee, Stefan Pompier. Rider number 7, from Spain, for Orbea, Iñaki Lejareta. Rider number 6, for the Canada Factory Racing Team, from Germany, Manuel Gili. Rider number 5, the Italian national champion for Canada Factory Racing, Marco Fontana. Rider number 4, from Spain, rider for the Montana Racing Team, the world champion,
Well, it's a very good afternoon to you from here at Dalby Forest in North Yorkshire for the second round of the Men's UCI Mountain Bike World Cup in cross country. And on screen you have the top 8 of the men's race being called to the line. They get called to the line at the very last to introduce them to the crowd, and of course we can watch them line up now here live on Freecaster, and that's our world champion right in front of us from the Merida Multivan team, Jose Antonio Jamida. Here we have Yaroslav Kulhavi already called to the line. We have Stefan Tempia for TX Active Bianchi, and Iñaki Lejareta from Orbea, Manuel Fume from Canada Factory Racing Team, and his teammate Marco Fontana from Italy. So Yaroslav Kulhavi, we just have 2 more riders to call up, and that includes the double Olympic gold medal winner from the Beijing Olympics and Athens. We have Julien Absalon from France right there taking up position about 2 or 3 in. They get to choose which lane they'd like to start in. The number 1 guy is always told, always given the first opportunity to pick his lane, and then the number 2 and so on down to number 8. So Absalon choosing that particular lane, second from the rider's left-hand side. A little bit of an interesting choice. And we see Nino Schurter, rider number 1, leading the World Cup Series. He's chosen to be on the other side of the track. They have a start loop of 2.4 kilometres before they get into a 6-lap race. And the start loop, all important. You see the rest of the field now being allowed to move up just behind them, and that'll be riders from position 9 onwards, including Carlos Coloma, Todd Wells, Buri Stander, Maxime Marot, Christophe Souza and Martin Goujan. So they're all lined up ready now behind. I can see Ralph Naff there in the Multivan Merida colours as we see the press clearing the line, trying to gain a vantage point. They want to get up to where the riders are going to tear off on this start loop, and then they'll rejoin the course proper and come through again. We'll probably see them after about 3 or 4 minutes, and then they'll head out on the first of 6 full laps, just over 6 kilometres, 6.03. And just done the calculations while we're away at lunch break. Look at the specialised riders there, all in the centre. They've got a big lineup here with Yaroslav Kulhavi, Christophe Souza, Buri Stander and Todd Wells. But we did a calculation before. To be the fastest race in the last couple of years, they need to get in under 1 hour and 40 minutes today. So keep your eye on the clock if you want to see an average speed of 23 kilometres an hour or more. They're now in starters' hands. They've been given the 30-second start board, and now we see the riders looking across to the starter to get an indication of when they're going to get underway. yellow number plates. We're underway now. We're going to get a replay of this in a little while, but right now we see a field of more than 100 starters. In fact, 130 starters in today's race. Burrow standing there on our near side. You see Luke Flukiger also trying to make a start up there as well. And the rest of the field streaming through, 130 riders, as I said. It's a big field when you think that most of the under-23 men aren't here because they raced yesterday. But there will be 1 or 2 under-23 men in this race, and we'll pick them up for you a little bit later on. But right now we're focusing on the top 10 riders to see who got a great start. We saw that the start was all important in the women's race, and many of the riders telling me that they were a little bit nervous about how this race was going to pan out. The wind is very, very strong, and it's going to be a very tactical race today. Not so much about power as it was in South Africa, but riders got to look to where they can sit in behind another rider on the contour road along the top road that heads back towards, well, here we go, replay of the start. Good start by Fontana in the centre there. He chose the centre lane, Marco Fontana in the Italian triple colour, red, white and green. And he moves across to his left-hand side. Manuel Furmick taking up the centre line now, right beside Nino Schurter, and Iñaki sitting there and behind. That's Iñaki Lejarreta. There's Vastaranta, the Finnish national champion, going through as well. And then we get down to the middle of the field, the rest of the Topik, that looks like Alban Lakata going through for Topik Ergon. So a clean start, no one crashing at the beginning and getting underway nice and clean. That's what we want to see. And towards back there I can see Brian Lopes going through there, the multiple World Cup winner in 4-cross and dual. He's gone through, he's riding number 137. And he was aiming for a very fast start because he knew he could make up a lot of positions with a quick sprint. He didn't have much luck in the Pro Sprint Eliminator, but he decided since he's over here to have a go. He's going to be racing in Offenburg as well for those fans of Brian Lopes, the man who's won more World Cups than any other male in the planet. So he's out there in the race right now, as well as Sven Nys, the multiple champion cyclocross rider. And not far along from Brian Lopes was plate number I think it was 134. That's Bart Ernutz, also a top cyclocross rider, starting at the back of the field. So some different riders from different disciplines in the cross-country race here today, and it's always great to see a bit of a mix and match amongst mountain biking. It is one sport after all, with a number of disciplines contained within. The crowd waiting in anticipation over here at the big drop that we've seen many, many times. That's Warri Gill, and you see it's underneath the white banner there is where the riders will disappear. They'll come into this little arena where the fans are waiting to see them, into Warri Gill, and then head on down through the 400 metre gully line, which I was speaking to Tracy Mosley after the race. She said was pretty sketchy through there. To pass someone, you had to really climb up on the walls of the gully. And while she had a lot of fun, she did say it was a pretty tough race. Well, we pick up the leaders now on the start loop. They're coming through under the loop here, under the overpass. And we can see now that is the world champions colours of Jose Hermida taking out the lead. So Jose Hermida from Spain, he rode the Cape Epic, he finished the top 5 down in South Africa in the first round of the World Cup. Marco Fontana sitting there in 4th, and it looks like Todd Wells has made a good start. Try and pick up the yellow plates of the leading team, the yellow number plates for the leading team. That's with Specialized right now, the leading team in the overall world ranking classification, not in the World Cup. 130 men streaming down, and Tracy was saying that even so, the track being quite wide in places, passing was very difficult. It was really only on the climb that she could make effective passing. So the pace is right on from the start, but I do think this will settle down a little bit into a tactical race. As I said, the headwind is very, very strong on 3 sections of the track, and I think riding out alone or sitting at the front of a train, you'll do so at your peril on a day like today, where the winds are gusting up to 45 miles an hour, 70 kilometers an hour in some sections of the course. It started to rain a little bit between the 2 races, and then it eased off again, so I don't think rain's going to play any factor at all in today's race unless there's a torrential downpour towards the end. But for now it's looking pretty good, with Jose Hermida crossing the line in 1st place. So that's the end of the start loop, and they're out now on the first of 6 full laps, with Nino Schurter sitting in behind, Manuel Furmick there, Marco Fontana, Kulhavi, Lejarreta, Absalon, Tempier, Gouget. Thomas Litcher doing very well, moving up from 21st to 10th, and so is Ralph Naff up to 11th. Todd Wells, as I mentioned, has done pretty well. Lucas Flukiger in 13th. Rudy Van Hoots moves up 10 places into 14th. And then Sven Nys has moved from 77th up to 16th. So an amazing start by the Belgian cyclocross star, up from 77th to 16th. And well, that is impressive. Let me see if there's been any people who lost out in that start, any of the bigger numbers. Well, it looks like a bad start there for a few of the riders. Let's see, number 17, Patrick Galati, and Matthias Flukiger coming through in 68th place, down from 15. So Patrick Galati in 17 still not through, neither is Wolfram Kerschat. So the top 80 through now. Early days in the race, but not a good start for a few of those riders. They're coming through the first of the technical zones, feed zones. They're not taking anything on at this start of this lap. And see Martino Fruit from Italy, another great start by the Italian, up from 52nd to 20th. And Chris Yongerwood also 55th up to 26th. Ivan Alvarez from Spain dropping a few spots down to 29th. So quite a bit of shuffling going on in the start loop, and it is critical for the start of the first lap to get a good position going into the single track down off this greenfield area. But as the race starts to pan out, some of these fast starts might peter out into nothing, and the stronger riders will start to come to the fore. There's Wolfram Kerschat going through in the distinctive lime green Topic colours with the white glasses, a tall rider from Germany. And I'm sure his kids are watching at home as well. Kerschat there being passed, looks like by Sven Nys in the Belgian national colours. So, of the 130 riders that started, we'll see how many have already come through the start-finish. Well, it looks like all of them have come through. The last one to come through was Patrick Galati. He was 142 down, so he's had some problem out there. And we'll probably see him coming into this technical zone very shortly, because if he is the last rider and he's got a mechanical problem, he's going to want to try and get that sorted out in the tech zone. So Patrick Galati, number 17, so he had a great result in South Africa and suffering in the start loop. Well, here he is. This is Galati. This is the BMC rider coming in now. So he's had some sort of issue out there on the track, and we'll see what the mechanic is attending to. It looks like he's broken a chain, so he's got to try and get that all sorted and fixed before. Well, that's going to be tricky. It looks like it's a weakened link there, a broken link inside the chain, and that's bad luck. That's not something from contact with other riders. That's something mechanical, and not much he can really do about that. But sit patiently and watch his mechanic try and fix it. You've got a bird's eye view here on Freecaster looking in on what's going on for Patrick Galati's bike. The BMC rider losing valuable time. We can see 7 minutes now elapsed. He was 142 down when he crossed the line. And Patrick Galati, the 24-year-old from Switzerland. Well, bad luck for him, but we join now with the leaders. It looks like Manuel Fumik going through now, and there's Todd Wells, it looks like, in the distinctive. No, that's Julian Absalon. Julian Absalon going through there, looking pretty strong. All the riders going down the A-line here, as I predicted would happen. I'd be very surprised if any of the top guys go down on the B-line there. Oh, there's one at the back there taking a longer line, but really is a lot quicker going down on the A-line in this part of the course. Absalon going through in about 5th position there, I would think. Julian Absalon crossing the line in 7th after the start loop. He won't be too worried about that. The race has got a long way to go. It will settle down a little bit. And they're going to come up to Warri Gill. And as we discussed in the women's race, Gill is the local language for gully. So it's a really long gully. It goes for about 400 meters or more through very steep banks, a very wet surface. And it's like a pinball alley as the riders get down there. It's a great spot to watch for the crowd. They'll see a lot of action going down through there. And we'll be up to there very, very shortly. But right now we're focusing. Here we are. As the leaders enter Warri Gill. And this looks like Coolharvey in the national team colours. Is that Coolharvey or Todd Wells? I picked it up. I'm pretty sure that's Coolharvey. Riding the heavier bike of the 4 specialised guys, a 9.4 kilo. He's riding the 2.9er, and it's a hardtail. Speaking to head mechanic of Specialized, Benno, and he was telling me that Jaroslav Coolharvey is one of the easiest riders to work for. He's no fuss about courses, no fuss about bike setup, just likes to get out and race. And so they find him very easy to set up the bike for, and when you ask him about what his favourite track is, he likes all of them. So he's not fussy at all. Jaroslav Coolharvey, the big Czech rider, riding the national champions colours, I would think he is. So that's why we can't quite pick up the red colour on that, but I'm pretty sure that's Coolharvey out in front, plate number 3. There is an easier line towards us on the inside. That's the line B. All of them lining up now for line A, which is just steep, and you just don't want to get caught up in traffic. But the B line there, a lot longer, So you'd have to either have a crash at the bottom of that or a big lineup to want to use the B line in the men's race. But you can see starting down along the gully here, it's a big ferns and very lush and green in here. Doesn't see a lot of daylight.